Okay, so today I'm so excited. I can't even believe how excited I was this morning when, well, first let me start. Because I got up in the morning, and started doing my regular stuff. And then I turned on the TV. And some days you just like really want some sort of message. So I turn on the TV, and I do my little, I don't know, I think you would call it a prayer or something. And then when I went on there, it was just stuff about the weather. And I was like, oh, son of a bitch. And so I was like, okay, I'll go in and watch. And there was some stuff said that I was definitely like, oh my gosh. It is just so, it's so mind-boggling how, I was just talking to my mom, how people just can't see stuff right in front of them. But that's that lower chakra on autopilot. And and just like when I said, I talked to my daughter the other day and she said, I don't want to be paying attention to stuff I can't do anything about. It stresses me out. And that's what a lot of these people are like. But they also are the rule followers. They don't want to create waves. They don't want to be, targeted. So, and they're so targeted. Oh God, they're so targeted. And the weather thing, it just totally confirmed to me. I mean, they're talking about the high temperatures, and there's already people dead. And of course, they got to throw in that big old climate change thing because they've got an agenda to push. They've got us to save. They're going to save us from the earth. Thank you, government. So, yeah. It's just so crazy, too, is because how many people, I know that there's people who know besides me, but how many people don't know that we are like in a time capsule? They have us back like Blast from the Past in that movie where they are down there and they're still in the 50s, or also that show on Netflix where they showed that they took this whole group of earthlings and told them they had to leave the planet, blah, blah, blah. Put them on a spaceship, and the spaceship is sitting in a big giant warehouse, and they are trapped in what is that thing called? They are the science project, just like we are. So all this stuff, they're always showing us, but we just think, oh, this is entertaining. But they're always disclosing, always in shows, just, look at shows differently. And so, yeah, we're stuck in this time warp thing that they keep us trapped in. Like, I mean, the technology is so far advanced from what they are giving us. But the biggest thing about the technology that is the most criminal offense is that we don't have to die. We don't have to have all this illness. They are doing that on purpose. And that is, I feel like I'm just like, what was that guy called? He was just a head. It was like, I think he was in the 80s or something. And he would talk. Oh, I got scoot up higher. Anyways, yeah, we're in this like time capsule. And, when you start finding out that there's doctors who even came up with cures for cancers, they just, let's put them in the prison. We don't want that. We don't want this cattle to be healed. Fuck that. So, yeah, when you realize the manipulation that's going on with our weather, that's how advanced they are, that they can mess with the weather, and it's mind-boggling. And these temperatures are just off the charts. But yeah, the fires are going to be coming real soon. We've already got people dying just from the heat. And the power, they had to make sure we knew that. You guys don't forget, there's going to be power outages. And I don't know. We're so close to the 4th now. I was like, are they going to use that as, we set our own fires because we're so ignorant. We started fireworks. Or are they going to just blast us last night? It was really windy here. And I texted my mom. I said, well, be prepared because the high temps are being followed by high winds. So they're going to, not going to be able to put out those fires. Wow, they're going to just destroy the whole. And then on this news clip too, it was just a weather clip, 2 of them. one thing too, the woman, she shows the map with the temperatures and she goes, and this is set up. I was like, oh yeah, it is set up, isn't it? And then she said, oh, they showed the map over across the Midwest, like in Kansas and going across towards the east. And of course, oh, they're being slammed by floods and storms and stuff because, you know, that's our farmers. So we can't have them having food for us. So the shortages and stuff they're aiming towards us is just like, and the people who are just so oblivious to what's going on, you know, they're just trying to survive. They have no idea. And they are just piling worse and worse things. These people who are trying to survive, not paying any attention, they're even going to be hit with more stuff. Yesterday, I told my mom, I said, I wonder if this is going to be one of the things is because so many people are so settled in to, oh, everything's opening up. Because yesterday I told my daughter we were trying to plan a trip to Key West and for my 60th birthday. And we were talking about going at the end of September. And then I was like, well, I don't know. Now they got the Delta that they're pushing and they are talking about locking down and stuff like that. And she's like, oh my God, you're so crazy. There's nothing about that. That is not even true. Yeah, it is. They've already started. They already locked down Sydney again. And she's like, where do you see this? It's like, I don't know. This is on the news. And so I'll just see little headlines. I don't go in and watch all the news stuff because you see what happens to me. I get really mad and I start cussing a lot. And I was definitely cussing a lot this morning at oh God, that TV with the news stuff. Oh, just the news reporters with their smug ass lion faces. It just makes me want to just go through the TV and punch them in the face. And but she's like, you know, that's not, and I could hear her on her phone. I knew she was looking it up, and then she just didn't say anything else. Okay, well, we'll just have to talk about it later. And I was like, well, I don't have a passport. I mean, I have a normal one. I don't have one of these ones, and I'm not going to get one to go and travel. I said, I'll manage wearing one of these, even though it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my fucking life on an airplane, but I'm not going to do one of these. So yeah, if they're coming at us again to push all this stuff, they're coming at us with the weather. They're coming at us with just crisis after crisis after crisis. And definitely we're about to go into mass shooting. Yesterday I was listening to, I may have already even talked about this because when I was listening to, I think it was, sometimes I'll go on when I'm looking for stuff to watch and somebody will be live and I'll go in and listen for a couple minutes or whatever. And they were saying that there's going to be what they think is going to happen. I guess there's leaks and stuff. I mean, I know that there's people who have intel and stuff, but there's also, I guess everything that they're doing in this war thing that's going on between the Alliance and the DS, that they uses quantum computers, and it can tell you everything that that other person will do. So when they sit there and say like, oh, they're playing this 5D chess game and stuff, well, they're playing it on, and it is all about spiritual stuff. Like, this is the Great Awakening. This is to wake people up. And the awakening isn't just, I mean, I don't even know. What else would it be being pushed as? But the Great Awakening is to your soul, to who and what you are. The Great Awakening is to empower yourself. You know, questioning yourself like, why am I following someone else's rules? Why am I following someone else's laws? Why am I following someone else's stuff? Like, what is it inside of me? Like, they've created these restrictions around us. And, yeah, you just got to start questioning things, look into things more. And, because everything out there, they're saying is a fucking lie. But that there's going to be, what they are thinking is it's going to be a big, mass, horrible event, very bloody, probably televised to traumatize us in the biggest way. It'd be towards minorities. It'd definitely be Trump supporter who did it, and that will be bloody massacre because they have to do the big push to get us all to surrender our weapons. And from what I understand, from what they're saying too, oh, I remember where I heard this. It was on Edge of Wonder. I hadn't seen them in a while. I've been following them way before any of this stuff because they were disclosure people too about aliens and stuff. And so many people switched to what they were talking about when everything started happening. It was like, oh my God, people wake up. So they were talking about, it was some guy that they were talking to, and they were saying about that they think that that's going to happen. And, you know, they've got to do this big push to get our weapons and stuff. But, which to me has to do with more limitations on how you can feed yourself and take care of yourself. But that I guess the CCP, you know, because we had heard for a long time, you know, like they've got the ships surrounding us in the water, our battleships are surrounding us to protect us. And that in Canada, where I'm up at the border, that they're waiting to march across. So they said that they're, the reason they haven't yet, which I had wondered, was because they said they're not going to, as long as we have weapons, that they are not going to, you know, come and start fighting us in the streets like that. They just want to come in, sweep through, take us over, you know. And of course, you know, since our government is an extension of them at this point, that they're trying to facilitate that for them, because it's ultimately the takeover of us and the enslavement of our essence for this higher technology group of, I mean, it's aliens, but it's also not just aliens, and it's not just all aliens. There's just certain ones, and I don't think all of them. I mean, there's ones that want to use us for energy, food, and stuff like that. But there's also other ones that are out communicating who are trying to help us to move forward. So it's not just like all aliens are bad, which in the movies, that's what they want us to believe, is all of them are bad, but that's not true. It is, there's a lot of good ones, and there's a lot that are out there helping us, and most people who are born have been aliens before. Like, the reincarnation cycle, it goes and goes and goes. You don't just, you know, come to earth once and then go sit up in the heavens with God. You have to go and go and go and go and go over and over and over. You have to have a full understanding about things. One thing too, I'm going to do this one and then I'm going to start a different one on some other stuff. But when I was younger, I went to England. I was like 19, I think. Might have been just 18. It was right around, maybe I turned 19 there, I'm not sure. But it was right at that time, changing from 18 to 19. And I needed to get away from my family. I needed to get away from a boy I was obsessed with. I just needed a change. So I decided, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go move to England by myself. And so I packed up my bag, got a ticket, and went and flew over there. Went to a little bed and breakfast place. Got up in the morning, asked the taxi driver if he knew where any jobs were. And of course, he didn't take me to the American place where all the Americans go to work, so I had no idea. And he took me down in this, like, a gangster area, I guess, to a pub of some guys he knew. They gave me a job. They gave me a place to live. You lived up above the pub. And you would go down and work your shift. And, you know, that was your thing. And there was other girls that lived there and became friends with them and their friends and stuff like that. And, of course, met tons of guys. And there was one guy that, I guess he was my boyfriend or something. And we went out walking one night, him and me, and it was this other guy. And I don't know if this was their plan all along, but they went into this big giant mansion and started robbing it. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And they were saying things and yelling things at me and stuff like that. And I don't remember, you know, what they were telling. I was like in total like panic mode, like, what the fuck is happening? And I saw this really cool looking thing. And I don't remember even what it was. I just thought it was really cool looking antique thing. And I took it. And it's haunted me. I mean, this happened when I was that young, and it's haunted me, you know, like, oh my God, I can't believe I stole something from somebody. Oh, it's horrible. And I didn't even keep it. I gave it to a friend who, I've talked about her before, my friend who got breast cancer. And back then they didn't understand anything about it. So she died when she was, she got the breast cancer when she was 26. It was already, by the time they ever treated it, it was like, it had been a year. And it metastasized, went in her brain and all of her bones and everything. Anyways, she died. But I had given her that thing. So it wasn't even that I ever kept it or anything. But then, so later in life, I was robbed several times, and things that were super, super important to me were taken. And it's just like, that is how things turn and balance themselves out. Like, there has to constantly be this balancing like that. And, you know, that is what is going on all of the time. And telling that story, I can't even remember what the fuck I was talking about to begin with. I started out with the weather. Then, I don't know. Hopefully it made sense, and it linked into what I was talking about. That's the problem with the brain injury. I'd have to go back, listen to the whole thing, and then remember. And yesterday, even when I will try and do something like that, like I'll be like, oh, I want to talk about that. And then I'll listen to something that I wanted to talk about, be like, what was it that triggered my thought? And it still will happen again. It's really hard to, like, I have to repeat it over and over and over and over in my head. And when I'm talking, that is harder to do. So anyways, sorry about if that just skipped around. Hopefully it made sense. Okay, but there's some other things I want to talk about, so I'll be right back.